Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me on Fabulous Foods with Victoria Fabbo. I'm really excited today. Today we're doing a traditional Cape Verdean dish that my best friend Gina has taught me. My best friend Gina, she has her clothing store in Dorchester. It's called Damos Boutique. So today I am wearing a chef jacket made by her and I'm really excited. And of course, my favorite color is purple, so everything I have to wear is almost always purple. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna work on this Cape Verdean dish right away. I hope I make her proud. Okay, so on the stove here, I have oil with my pan. We're gonna first just cook our garlic and our seasoning. That's gonna go in our rice and bean dish. And we're also gonna make shrimp as well. So I have the oil on low, medium heat. We're gonna be adding garlic. All right, so first we have garlic in here, and now we're gonna add seasoning. So in my house, we don't really cook rice that often, so we don't really eat it that much. But when I was in Cape Verde this summer, Gina's family made rice almost at every meal, and it was so wonderful. So Gina has taught me how to make rice. So what I'm putting in here now, I have Italian seasoning. I have all-purpose seasoning here as well. Cayenne pepper, ginger's in here, and salt and pepper, of course, as well. We have lemon pepper here too. I'm gonna turn up the heat to medium-high. Okay, let's talk about the shrimp that we made. So here you can see I have the shrimp with its whole heads on. I have previously had never made shrimp with whole heads on before. So we're giving it a whack at it today. And so what I did to clean it, I was informed to clean it with salt and lime first and water. Rinse that, mix that really well together to help kill some bacteria with the salt and lime. Rinse that off a few times to get some of the sodium out as well. And then we went ahead and seasoned it. We used the same seasonings as in the rice. We used the cayenne pepper, all seasoned. We did lemon pepper, Italian spices as well. And we also used a polo, kind of like the boing cubes that you would use if you were making soup. They make a powder version of it as well. It's called polio. So we put that in there as well. So I went ahead and marinated this prior with some lemon juice, and so that's just gonna keep marinating while we're cooking the rice. We're just toasting the spices right now with the garlic. You can do either one first, spices first, or garlic, whichever you prefer. So this summer I had a wonderful opportunity. I was able to go to Cape Verde to be in a fashion show with Damos Boutique. So it was really wonderful. I was actually in my first fashion show ever in February in Boston. And of course, God is good. I was able, the fashion show that Damos put on, all the collection was purple, and I was just in heaven because everybody got to wear purple and it's my favorite color, and I was just so ecstatic the whole time. So my first fashion show was in Boston. We also got to do a fashion show in Rhode Island, which was wonderful to go ahead and do that collection again. And then Gina's family was so wonderful. They invited me to a wedding in Cape Verde. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to a wedding, let's go. So we went to a wedding, and then as we're planning to go away, they said, oh, Victoria, we're also gonna do a fashion show while we're there. Wonderful, I'm so excited, I'm there. It was wonderful. So we got to do one at one of the hotels there, and the fashion show was on a pool. So like the runway was on a pool, so that was really cool. So the same purple collection was wonderfully, made it around the world and back. And we definitely, definitely with some luggage struggle, of course. Some pieces might have not have been in the show, but it was just wonderful to be there. So I'm really grateful and blessed for that opportunity. And so I'm really glad that I'm able to be wearing one of the chef jackets as well. And it was a great experience. All right, it's toasting, it's doing well. Next, we're gonna go ahead and add in some of our beans. So we have a lot of bean collections that we're adding in our rice today. Feel free to add any beans you may have, chickpeas, black beans. First, I'm gonna put in some lima beans. Woohoo! And then I have black eyed peas. And then I have mixed vegetables. Use whatever vegetables you have. The nice thing about what I'm using, all these vegetables were frozen. So the black-eyed beans too, they were frozen, and that's how I bought them. They will cook a lot faster because of that. And corn as well. I have 3 onions. I have red, yellow, and white onions in here. And I'm gonna save some for the shrimp as well. Put that off to the side for now. Okay, and then in here I have 3 colors of peppers, red, yellow, and green. And I also have tomato in here as well. Put that in. And if you want to, like I said, do the order that you prefer. If you like to cook the garlic and onions all together first and then add the tomatoes and let that kind of stew first, feel free to do that. Or if you want to just add it all together and just let it cook at the same time. Oh, it smells great so far. Yes, white rice can be looked as a culprit if you have to be mindful of your carbohydrates. And yes, you can use brown rice too, of course, because it's a whole grain. But what's great is that we have had so much vegetables in here, and we have beans in here as well, so that's a great source of protein. So I always like to recommend, if somebody is gonna have a carbohydrate, even if it's a banana or something, to always pair it with a protein, and that will help stabilize your blood sugar. So white rice or a banana might make your blood sugar spike. And if you accompany it with protein, a glass of milk, peanut butter, or beans or something of that sort, that will help at least stabilize your blood sugar a little bit, so it won't spike as significantly. So that's always a plus. In the meantime, I have oil here on the stove. It's been on low heat. We're gonna go ahead and cook our garlic with it and our seasoning, and we'll make a little bit of like a slurry of sorts for our shrimp. Go ahead and add the garlic. I also have Jamaican hot peppers in here as well. I only cut 2 up because it can be hot, but feel free to add as many hot peppers as you'd like, or as less as you'd like. So up to you. And we'll let that cook. Check on our veggies. And feel free to add any other vegetables you may like as well with the rice. What do they call it? The kitchen sink. Go ahead and add any vegetables you like that you have available. Our vegetables are cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and add some fresh thyme and fresh rosemary. You can keep it together or you can spread it apart if you like. I always like to rub the herbs a little bit to help release some of the essential oils, get some of the terpenes out. And the terpenes is like the aromas and the scent. So I like to rub that out and spread it in. Save some for the shrimp as well. Okay, and then over here I have some cilantro. Okay, give that a mix. Ooh, that smells so good. All right, our garlic over here for the shrimp is looking great. So like I said, it's been marinating the shrimp. I'm gonna go ahead and add it. All right. So it is raw. So what's the difference of keeping the shrimp head on or off? It's funny, I feel mostly in America the heads are kept on, the heads are kept off, and that's just a preference. And then if you go to Europe or Africa, in Asia too, even in South America, you'll see the heads typically left on the fish. And a lot of people like to still eat the head of the fish. They find that there's a lot more juice in there. It's up to your preference. The only thing that you might have to be considerate of is when you're eating seafood is perhaps tentacles, little bones. So that's normally why those items are typically removed. But either way, it always tastes so great. So some of them are still not fully cooked yet, but we will re-cook it in a moment. I'm gonna take the shrimp off. Shrimp is very delicate and it can get really chewy if you overcook it. So we're gonna go ahead and take it off. Okay. Keeping the sauce in there, the garlic and some of the juices still. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and add in our onions and peppers. So again, 3 different onions, red, white, and yellow. And then 3 different kinds of peppers and tomatoes. So this will be like our sauce that we're gonna make. Let's check on the beans. Okay, it's smelling like how Gina makes it, so I hope it always tastes as good as she made it. Her grandmother says that if it smells good, then it's gonna be good to eat. So, fingers crossed. All right, so the vegetables are gonna be cooking. We're also gonna add in our fresh herbs that we left saved. Again, I'm just gonna rub the rosemary a bit. And I cannot ever help just needing to always smell the herbs, right? Stop and smell the flowers, right? And then some thyme and cilantro. It's so colorful and beautiful. I love the colors. Give that a mix. The colors are wonderful. All right, so we're just gonna let that cook. Lay the vegetables flat, flush against the pan if you can, and then go ahead and put a lid on top. All right, we're gonna let that cook, clean up a little bit, and we'll be right back. Okay, so the vegetables have been cooking for a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add our hot peppers now. Okay. And if you ever touch hot peppers, make sure to immediately wash your hands because you do not want to touch your face. You may have a reaction and nobody wants anything spicy in their eyes. Again, watch out for steam. Go ahead and mix the vegetables. Come in together nicely. And I think our beans should be done for the rice. Yeah. Much better. And the beans will fully cook when we're cooking with the rice as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add about a cup of rice. We're gonna go ahead and toast the rice before we add any water. It gives the rice gets a better flavor when it's toasted. Okay, the rice has been toasting for a little bit. We're gonna just give it a stir before we add the water. It's coming together nicely. And just make sure it doesn't stick on the bottom. So you may have noticed that we haven't added any salt. Some of the seasonings we did use may contain a bit of sodium. But since we're cooking such a large batch, the sodium intake per serving should be moderately well. And that's just something to be considerate of. Is your spices that you're using, do they have sodium in them? I believe the all-purpose seasoning that I did use did have sodium in it, but everything else that I used did not. Okay, we're gonna let that rice toast a little bit longer. Let's just mix the vegetables, see how they're coming together. I'm gonna lower down the heat a bit. All right, the vegetables are looking great. We're gonna go ahead and add in the shrimp again. and let that cook all together. Make sure to grab any of the extra juices on the bottom. No need to waste it. Give that a stir. Okay, go ahead and put the lid back on and we'll just give that a couple of moments to cook. Just a friendly reminder too, when I've been touching the shrimp, the bowls, the utensils, always remember to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. You do not want to cross-contaminate anything and you don't want your hands to have raw shrimp on them. So just to be mindful of that when you are cooking. Okay, we've let this rice toast up enough. We're going to go ahead and add the water. I'm just going to give it a little stir. The water, it has been warming up. Give it a mix. See if you need, how much more water you may need. You can add a little bit more. The water level is matching the rice, so we want to make sure that enough of it's being covered by water. And just go ahead and let that low and slow and cook away. The rice is at like a 3, so kind of like a medium-low heat, just to make sure that it is getting simmered enough and cooking enough. Otherwise, it might be there all day. That smells great. Let's go ahead and just stir the shrimp up, see how that's going. It's looking great. I think we can turn off the shrimps now. And we just don't want it to overcook too much. So the heat's off, we'll just put that off to the side. And we'll just wait for our rice to cook and then we'll serve and we'll eat. Okay, I think our rice is about done. Today we made a low sodium version. I didn't add additional salt. As I was saying earlier, the all-purpose seasoning that I use had sodium in it. If you'd like to add more salt, feel free. I was using a low sodium recipe today, just for those who have cardiovascular disease or hypertension, just not to add too much salt to your diet. All right, so I think the rice is done. I turned off the heat. It's looking great. I'm proud of myself and I really hope Gina is going to be proud of me too. All right, so you can see it has come together really nicely. To me, it's like a risotto. So I guess I make risottos at home and pastas. So I'm really proud of myself that I made this Cape Verdean rice. All right, I'm going to bring it over to the table and we'll plate it and we'll enjoy it. Okay. So again, with the rice mixed with the vegetables, you probably want about a cup, because a half a cup of rice is a serving size and a half a cup of vegetables is a serving size. Pretty. And then when you are eating shrimp, and if you've decided to keep the heads on, you don't have to eat the eyeballs for sure, but you can take that off. I feel like I'm in Cape Verde. I feel like I'm in Cabo Verde and I'm eating something super nice on the beach, and that's the experience I'm feeling. I'm feeling quite tropical at the moment, and I wish I was back there hanging with all my friends and my new family that I made. And I'm so glad that they took me in so well. And I was supposed to garnish it with cilantro. Love, go on. Okay. And you can squeeze a lime juice on it too, or you can just garnish it with the lime on the side. I want to thank Damos Boutique for addressing me today, and I really love my chef jacket. And I really appreciate being taught how to make a Cape Verdean meal with rice and beans and shrimp. So I hope you really enjoy this with your family and friends today. Thank you. And I'm so glad you guys were able to join me on Fabulous Foods with Victoria. I hope you guys have a really great time enjoying this with your family.